Good day, subscribers. My name is Rifat, and welcome to WIC channel. So this is my second popular segment that I love to do. Is my three stocks to watch for March. So this is part of my big watch list that I have. I pick three stocks. Some I own, some I do not own. It depends how I see fit and how I want to kind of do those three stocks. And some stocks even people kind of tell me to do on that I just choose to kind of give a brief analysis on them. Nothing in depth, just going overall on what are the key metrics, kind of give a brief idea. And like if I really want to do an in-depth video, then I'll do a separate segment on that stock. Also, I just kind of I preach that this is kind of my three stocks are kind of my opinion. I honestly just want to kind of share my knowledge and kind of start a conversation. I want you guys to kind of do your own due diligence and like do your own research and determine if these stocks see fit. I just like sharing and start a conversation, right? To see if there's kind of common stuff with you and like to hear from you guys, right? So yeah, that's kind of my idea of those three stock segments I do monthly. So you know what? Let's go to the supercomputer and we'll start with those three stocks and afterwards we come back away and wrap the whole fantastic video. So I see you guys over there. Whoosh. Thanks guys for joining me from the supercomputer. So as you guys can see, my first stock which I'm gonna show you guys is Scotiabank. The reason I picked them is I think they got this second pick time I'm picking them in 2 months. I think they got beaten hard and they missed a couple of earnings, so I'm expecting them to drop, and they dropped also of the earnings because as you guys can see the chart, the earnings came around here and since that it's been just like it dropped like a good percentage, since like dropped $2 and now it's hovering around that area and it could go down. So right now I'm just watching them and like now they become really interesting, right? Because they missed the earnings and now people are kind of just pushing them aside. So it could be a good pickup. So I'm just gonna go briefly on their earnings. What happened is they missed on income, not missed, but I mean compared to last year they missed it. The earnings per share also was lower than last year. They increased the dividends, which is kind of good, 2 cents, as you guys can see here. And also the income like compared to last year also dropped. Earnings per share fully diluted was also lost. So it's kind of it was kind of a bad quarter for them overall. That's something they mentioned it. And as per when you read the articles and like the conference call, the CEO mentioned that he's having a bit of tough time integrating certain companies, and also their goal for this year, remaining of this year, is to completely integrate the acquisitions they made last year. So kind of we'll see what happens. I think this year is integrating, and also I think investors are expecting things from them, right? So that's kind of a thing what happened. So now we can go a bit compare compare a bit to the market, right? They're really undervalued. This I don't have to really emphasize much about, right? Compared to the industry or the TSX overall, they're undervalued. Even the PE ratio, the the forward PE ratio is also low. The book price to book compared to the industry and TSX is low. The price to sale, that's the only thing I could say that it's high. And dividend is high, but it's good. Get more dividend, right? And yeah, that's kind of the history. You guys can see also as per how the history has hovered around, and like this is right now one of their all-time lows, right? They were last time they were low is back in 2015-ish. Their price to book, and let's go also the PE. Like you see, they're hovering close to their all-time lows, which is like of their 10 years right now, we can say, of the period. So yeah, I mean, and one of the outlooks they kind of mentioned is their international business segment is increasing. They had a 17% increase on their international business segment on the quarter, which shows that like they're expanding outside of Canada, right? Which is vital for a company to survive. You shouldn't be only focused locally. So I think long term it's important to be focused globally. So long run, which I am really a long term investor in them. So I think focusing on when I see the international segment growing. Interesting, and I'm patient. So this is for me just quarterly miss, and I think it's opportunity that maybe there could be a more sell-off and could be a good buying another additional position. So, and also like I said, they're not focused only on Canada, and like they're more focused on global, right? Am I buying or selling? Like I kind of mentioned previously, also right now, is I'm waiting for a couple of drop. I think 73 is a good entry point also, but I think it could get hit more because it just quarter came in the news. I mean, could go lower, and like if it seriously drops lower, I would put in more, but it's seriously something I consider buying in this coming month. Next coming is we'll go here is pull this up here. My next is Power Corporation. It's a company that I fell through with research and watching other people talk about it also. It's a company that is really interesting because it's when you know the companies that they own, it's huge, and the positions that they have, which is very interesting. So like the chart itself, you can see it has been hit hard. Like if you can go with like a 5 years, like not hit hard, but I mean it's hovering around there, but it's went low before and now going up. So the chart itself is not necessarily something representative, but I just see that in long term with a dividend. But just to give you an idea as for what they own, right? They own from like Great West Life to London Life to this is like all insurance, pretty much investment section to certain power sections. So they own a lot, like Wealth Simple, that people that I just did a video previously on review. They own that also. They own a couple of other startups left and right. They own a couple of power engines, like I told, and there's certain assets in China. Overall, they're very well invested company that is very well diverse, as you guys can see. And also a funny thing, when you can go down here, you can see they own even La Presse, which is interesting. Cool. So we can go here to the expectation. So one of the main things what happened is they got hit hard. The growth for this coming year is not expected to be something great. So one of the reasons why the PEs got hit and the company's stock price has got hit and doesn't represent necessarily the growth segment, right? We can go as with the expectation for the analysts, right? The analyst expecting is 71 cents overall, but like last year was 90 cents, so it's like a huge difference. And overall for this year, it's kind of expecting within range of last year, but still it's like not tremendous amount of growth, as you guys can see. And current year average estimate is 48 billion when last year they made 51 billion. So they got hit hard, and then the growth is not there necessarily. But I think each company can have a tough year, but overall in the long run, because they're well diverse, it could be an interesting positions to own, right? And we can go in the statistics. The trailing P is like 10, the forward P is like 8, which is very low compared to the TSX, which is like 15, and for the trailing P. And the dividend is interesting, right? They pay 5.5%, and there's like 54% payout rate. So and they have a good cash position, which is very good. And the debt is 16 billion, so it's easily recoverable if there's anything happens. So they're not highly leveraged in debt. They're very well positioned in cash. So overall, I think it's a good company. It's a long-term hold. So it's a good company or long-term hold. It's an interesting find that I fell on, and I just want to share, right? Me personally, I don't own any shares in them. I will not necessarily buy in them because I think I'm more diverse in increasing positions in my existing holdings and not necessarily maybe open to have another holding, right? If you guys have a position to add, like if you have opening in your portfolio to add maybe a stock or something, I would seriously think that this could be not could be overlooked. Yeah, it could be something to look at, right? To see maybe if you can make some room for them, right? Yeah. So let's top it off with a final stock, a position that I've been owning for a quite long time, them, and now they became really interesting. It's one of my kind of a spec stock, we can say. penny stock. It's the score. They're really in a good, wonderful position right now. They're like 36 cents, which is something. It's really like a penny stock. But I just think they're in a good position. They like the quarter. They had a good quarter. They have like a monthly average use of 4.2 million users. They had an amazing quarter, which was released in January. So they had achieved the EBITDA of 1 million, which is very good because they had constantly lost, and that's like one of their highest EBITDA positive. They had almost $10 million in revenue. They had record monthly user sessions, and like the esports also is booming. So it's kind of like, because the esports segment, what they do is they do it on YouTube, and they kind of do their own content, which reached 40 million users, which is really good because that segment is growing. And now they're planning to launch in New Jersey their first platform for sports betting. This is the main reason why I'm really excited for this company, is because sports betting became legal in US. So before it was only in Las Vegas. So with that being legal, they become an interesting company because they can leverage the existing user base, which is like 4 million monthly users, and in US they're really popular. I think they're one of the top. They're like on the top 5, and now they even went higher in sports app used. And in US they're really popular. So they can really leverage their current user base and monetize them and go into sports betting. So with esports and sports betting being one of their growth factors this year, I think they're going to be an interesting position. I mean, if you want to try, if you want to have room maybe for like a spec stock, just to put a money there and see where they go, it could be an interesting position to put in. And also I want to add is that they're very experienced management team, right? They ran the score, the television channel that was sold to Rogers afterwards. So they're very experienced. They know what they're doing in the business, and that's one of the things I want to add. Will I be adding to my current position? Maybe not. I'm excited to see what their quarter results will be. I think it should be coming in April. Next quarter results. I'm excited to see what comes out of that. But I will not be adding because I already own compared to my whole portfolio, there's kind of a percentage I allocate to spec stocks. It's already been allocated to this and other stocks. So I will not be adding extra more. But it's an interesting stock I would wanted to share, right? Because we never know where they can end up with. Right now it's sports betting being legal, and also the esports segment, which is really growing for them. So yeah, those are the 3 stocks for March. Let's go to the whiteboard. Let's finalize this whole thing. Thank you, people, for joining me from the whiteboard. To recap the whole video, as you guys can see, the 3 stocks that I'm kind of watching for this year. There's some that I will buy, some I will not. So I mean, I want to share with you guys, and one of the 3 stocks, that I'm watching, right? We can say. Yeah, so tell me what you guys think, right? Do you guys interested in 3 stocks? What are 3 stocks you guys are watching for March, right? Would be interesting to know, and also kind of go in depth. If you guys want me to go in depth in those stocks or the stocks I mentioned, just drop a comment and I will make a video dedicated to that stock or another stock, and just kind of go ahead and give an analysis and give my opinion about them. And also re-emphasize on something I said is opinion. It's my own opinion, my own research, and my own picks I have. But again, do your own due diligence, do your own research, and make your own choice. Because if you make your own choice, if anything happens, any volatility or stuff like that, you will see through it because you stick to your plan and you know your vision. So having that kind of set in stone and making your own choices, you will be able to go through the storm of a stock or stuff like that. So yeah, that's about it. So if you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and also I have a couple links, Twitter and Facebook. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter and like my Facebook page. So interesting to always have you guys, and also again, drop a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. That resumes the whole video. Thank you very much for watching, people, and have yourself a wonderful day. Whoosh.